What is up, guys? This is Chase Oliver, 68 here, bringing you my UFC 137 recap and results. UFC 137 was live at the MGM Grand Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, the original main event for this, show was supposed to be Georgia St-Pierre, welterweight champion, facing the challenger Carlos Condit. GSP got a knee injury, had to forfeit out, so our new main event was a co-main event originally. BJ Penn and Nick Diaz one-on-one. So let's see. Let's go over the card. Was this a good card? Well, let me go over it. First fight of the evening, we had Hatsuhikoki versus George Roop. In a featherweight bout, Hatsuhikoki is known as one of the best featherweights, I guess, in the world. He's a former featherweight champion in other organizations. He just had this mystique around him of how many championships he won that Dana White was like, you cannot miss on this talent. He's a good talent. Big opportunity for us. Got to pick him up while we still can. Picked up Hatsuhikoki. Fought George Roop, a featherweight veteran. Kind of like that guy where you introduced them to the featherweight division. The fight was kind of decent. It wasn't really a fight for everyone. It was more for those strategist fans. If you're like a fan that loves all the strategy going around in MMA, that's pretty much what the fight is. That was pretty much the fight in itself. It was all strategy between Hatsu and George Roop. Hatsuhikoki wins by split decision, and I really did not think he won this fight by split decision. I gave my decision to George Roop, to be honest with y'all. Thought George Roop had better control in the first and second round, and Hatsu just pulled the third round in a good fashion. To be honest, this fight was okay, not really a fight. If you were a Hatsuhikoki fan and you were expecting much more, especially from his stuff back in Shudo or TKO, don't expect that stuff here. That's not going to happen here. Next up, we got bantamweight fight between Scott Jorgensen, and there goes autofocus. Scott Jorgensen versus Jeff Curran in a bantamweight battle. Scott Jorgensen wins via unanimous decision in a fairly entertaining fight. These two had scrambles in the second and third round, but first round was kind of more of the filling out process. Really, to be honest, this fight, none of these guys you think will go on to fight for the bantamweight title in the near future. You all know Dana White's waiting until Uriah Faber gets his title shot again. So, to be honest, that's how I see it. These two are excellent fighters in the bantamweight division, but nowhere near title fight worthy. Scott Jorgensen, I don't know what's next for him, but they got to find a fight that could actually challenge him instead of Jeff Curran, because Jeff Curran's nowhere near a challenge. Then we get a heavyweight battle between Miracle Korokop and Roy Nelson. If you guys do not know who Roy Nelson is, he's big country, man. He has that huge ass fucking belly, and everyone thought Roy Nelson, last time we saw him against Frank Mir, he looked disgusting. It was pitiful how he looked. He was fatter than he was before. He comes into this fight, looks a lot slender. I thought he lost a lot of weight compared to what he had before, and fuck off, autofocus. He looked really, really good. I really, really did like how Roy Nelson looked in this fight. And Miracle, he looked like fucking Miracle in the UFC. Nothing new. The first two rounds, typical big country fight. If you watch most of them, it's just a guy trying to knock this fucker down, but he is so hard-headed. It's so hard to knock this guy down. Frank Mir couldn't do it. JDS couldn't do it. They thought JDS was. Miracle couldn't do it, and it ended just how Miracle's last fight ended. When he got knocked out by punches in the third round, just like he did against Brandon Schaub not too long ago. And really, Korokop, hang it up. You are done. I am sorry. I respect you as a fighter. I think you're one of the great heavyweight pioneers in the industry. But when is enough enough? You have nothing left else to prove. You left a legacy that people will always remember. You have fans that will always remember you as this great star. Right now, you're just tarnishing your fucking career. Stop. You're not in the competition anymore to fight with these younger guys. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I'm sorry, Krokop Nuthuggers. I know you're going to get on my ass. People are like, but he still has all the talent. Well, obviously he doesn't have talent if he's losing to lower tier guys and Krokop and Brendan Schaub, guys who are moving up, while he's still on that lower tier. His last big win was against Pat fucking Barry. Case said and done. Next up, we had Chick Congo versus Matt Mitrione. And speaking of Pat Barry, Chick Congo was Rocky Balboa-like in that Pat Barry fight when he came out of nowhere and knocked the fuck out of Pat Barry. But we had Matt Mitrione versus Chick Congo. Matt Mitrione was undefeated at the time coming into this fight. Everyone thought, oh man, Matt Mitrione, he's one of those guys that you really, really have to watch for in the heavyweight division. And I kind of was like the same way, He's a good talent for the heavyweight division. he just needs to kind of cut a little bit more weight and look more athletic. But he's a good talent overall for the heavyweight division. A lot of people were liking Matt Mitrione, but Chick Congo really showed that Matt Mitrione was not ready for a middle class tier fighter, because Matt Mitrione up to this point, he has never fought anyone like a Chick Congo on their level. Chick Congo has fought top fighters like Cain Velasquez, so he knows what it's like to fight the top guys. And really, Chick Congo just looked impressive, defeated Mitrione. You know, he didn't look too impressive to the point where it's like, groundbreaking. The fight was very boring, though. The fight was not entertaining at all. Really, Matt Mitrione just looked lost. You know, there's some points where it's like, oh, Congo, but other than that, this fight was not very entertaining. It was okay at best. You know, it wasn't a terrible fight, but the fans didn't like it. I wasn't into it. I was kind of dozing off a little bit because these two weren't doing anything. Mitrione's team stuttered after realizing what he was going up against. But hey, it is what it is. You know, Mitrione loses to a good fighter, and he's still ready to keep building himself back up. So this loss could be a good learning experience for Mitrione to whether he takes it. I mean, you're undefeated, now you lose. It sucks, but you can learn off this and become a better fighter in the long run. Next up, your welterweight main event of the evening, the Prodigy, BJ Penn, versus the psychotic, crazy fucker, Nick Diaz. This fight, literally, if you are like a UFC DVD collector, I don't know if there's any out there, or if you're just like a fight fan, this whole card, skip it. Just seriously skip the card. If you buy this DVD, watch BJ Penn versus Nick Diaz. All you need to do, and you can say this was one of the best UFC shows ever. BJ Penn and Nick Diaz, although not very, very good, it was a very exciting fight. I mean, when I mean by good, technically, these guys look kind of sloppy out there, but boy, these two brought in the war. BJ Penn comes out, he's ready in round one, starts landing on Diaz. Diaz is hurt. Then later on, Diaz starts giving BJ problems in round 2 and 3, and these guys look like fucking warriors. This is what you pay to see sometimes when you're an MMA fan, especially back in the days where you see when you're a fight fan, you want to see guys gruesome and bloodied and messed up and very, very, very out of whack and stuff, and this is what we got. We had Nick Diaz, his eye was all cut up. We had BJ Penn, his eye was all shut up, you know, bruised, battered. These two were going to war, and you knew you were watching something special in this war. Technically wise, this wasn't a very good match, but overall entertainment wise, very, very good. Very, very entertaining. These two left it all on the line. The winner of the fight was Nick Diaz by unanimous decision, and Nick Diaz, fuck GSP! He ain't gonna fight anyone. He's scared. I think he's scared. I want the title. Caesar Gracie #1. Oh, Nick Diaz, you psychopath. Pretty much that's about it. And another sad retirement in the MMA community. Whether you're a fan of his or not, you gotta appreciate his work. BJ Penn has retired from MMA. Has a baby daughter coming home soon. He said he's done with it. He just wants to fight the top guys. He's not fighting at the level of the top guys. He's done, and he pretty much said it. He has nothing left to prove. And BJ, I was never really a fan of yours, but I did appreciate the work that you brought into the UFC. I did appreciate what you have done for the UFC as a whole. I respect you as an athlete. I think you're a tremendous, tremendous fighter. And it sucks that your career had to go down at the spite. I understand most fighters would like to go out in a blaze of glory. But this is another fighter we lost in the UFC, and it really, really sucks. I mean, earlier this year we lost Randy Couture. We lost Chris Lytle in the sport, you know. When fighters retire, it's really, really hard to absorb that because we grow up watching these fighters, and just hearing when your fighters retire, it's just like knowing that you probably won't see them again unless they make that special appearance. And BJ even said he's done. Hopefully it's not for good. Hopefully one more fight out of this guy. But if you guys want to know, BJ Penn, great athlete. Respect the hell out of him. BJ Penn collectors, if you guys love BJ Penn, suggest to get this fucking DVD. It's something you'll enjoy. But pretty much my sentiments on BJ Penn. Tell me what you guys thought of UFC 137. Comment down below your thoughts of UFC 137. Comment down below your favorite BJ Penn moment. You guys want to know mine? My favorite BJ Penn moment was when Kyle Uno was going to charge at BJ Penn. BJ Penn gets in with that boom right jab. Knocks the living shit about Kyle Uno, and then, man, BJ Penn. That was a fun moment. I wasn't a fan of his still, but hey, you know, that was a great moment. Comment that down below too. And subscribe up above. You guys just saw my UFC 137 recap. Follow me on Twitter, ChaseOliver68, and add me on Skype if you want to, ChaseOliver68. And I'm ChaseOliver68 as the autofocus fucks up for the 50th millionth time. Don't worry, I'll get that fixed. See ya!